I only released the Q&A announcement video a week ago, and as expected, there are a lot of questions for me to go through. I'm not entirely sure whether I'm going to have the time to get through all of them. That will depend a lot on the feedback I get from doing these videos. For now, though, I have decided to focus on the questions that have gotten a lot of upvotes because that tells me how much each of you want to hear the answers. So let's see how many of these I can get through today. The Anthro Gamer asks, how long did it take you to settle with your anthropomorphic wolf character design? Also, is there a reason you chose the Anthro wolf over the usual pony design? To be honest, I had thought about creating a pony avatar in the early days of my channel. It seemed rather fitting if I wanted to consider myself a brony. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that making myself a pony would make it all the more difficult for me to stand out from everyone else. I figured that I needed a more unique look and started taking suggestions from my watchers. When DavionX offered to draw me whatever I wanted, and when discussing the matter with my brother Tarek, I finally decided on this image of DRWolf. Since I had already picked the name of my character, I wanted to find something that would reflect the calm, understanding, and welcoming environment I was seeking to create with the channel. It took all of a week to finally settle on this design, but I have always been pleased with how it turned out. Johnny Fireflame asks, when putting together my own first review, do you have any tips on what I should avoid doing and what I should empathize on? First off, you need to feel passionate about the work. Even if things don't turn out as well as you would have hoped, find a way to make the work enjoyable. In my case, I like the fact that I have so much more purpose to my free time, and that I'm improving upon my talents with all the effort I'm putting in. It's certainly nice that I'm getting the chance to be more social, but I'm doing these kinds of projects because it's what I'm thinking about a lot of the time anyway. Even when I'm at work, my mind is frequently going back to how I can connect story elements and characters in a meaningful way. So, make sure that you're making a review because you enjoy the work and not because you're looking to be popular. An audience will be able to tell if you aren't passionate about what you're reviewing. Chaotic Cartoonist wants to know, where on earth did ANY get the April Fool's joke idea from? I don't know where the idea came from, but he sent out messages for this collaborative effort a few weeks before April 1st, and though I was intrigued, I wanted to see what others had to say about the idea before I'd be willing to throw my hand in. After watching what ANY had put together and seeing that several others wanted to take part as well, I decided that I should get over my hesitations and take part in the fun. Sobi the Robot has a couple of questions for me. Have you ever seen any G1 My Little Pony? I'm fairly certain that I watched a few minutes of it on TV when I was a child just to see what it was about, but I don't remember being interested in any of it. Nowadays, I have been getting a number of requests from people about my thoughts on G1, and I think that could make for a good project to get into sometime during the summer. After Season 4 is over, of course. Are the A Moment with DRWolf segments legitimate psychoanalysis and counseling, or are they staged? Each time I have put together a script for A Moment with DRWolf, it has just been my guest and I writing back and forth whatever comes to mind in the moment. Most every script I've put together thus far has taken about an hour from start to finish, provided we don't get interrupted. And every word of advice I give really are my own personal thoughts and feelings on the subject at hand. Whether my guest is really talking about themselves or just what their character is going through is up to them. Silverbane asks, with all the fan canons that have been made, which is the one that hit your feelings more than any other? That would definitely be the headcanon surrounding Applejack's family. Of course, the writers have already shown that her parents have passed on, but the theories of how Applejack has done the most in raising Applebloom is what has hit me the most. I would love to see the MLP staff show some flashbacks of their relationship, as it would explain a great deal about how Applejack has become so wise at such a young age. I'm a Jack Sparrow asks, which of your videos are you the most proud of? Well, I would certainly include the first video I ever made. Fluttershy's weakness is part of her greatest strength, simply because that is the one I was most worried about making, and yet it turned out to be what a lot of people were looking for. But I should also include the first A Moment with DRWolf project, because it is the closest I've ever gotten to being a voice actor in an animated video, and the subject matter was just a lot of fun to talk about. Magic Man has a couple of questions for me. Would you like to see chrysalis and the changelings return in the future, as antagonists, allies, or whatever? Well, I certainly think there is more potential with both chrysalis and the changelings. I'm sure it would add a lot to the world building of Equestria if we got to see their origins. As for whether they should return as antagonists or allies, I would lean more towards antagonists. As much as I would like to see a story about a lone changeling trying to fit in with pony society, I'd say that MLP needs to have some fully developed recurring villains. I'd be much more interested in stories where chrysalis and the changelings become an ever-present threat, as long as there is more thought put into their plans and ambitions. Also, is there any episode, moment, or character in the series that got under your skin in a bad way? One that really got to you? For the most part, MLP has managed to exceed my expectations, and even in moments where I don't agree with certain elements, it hasn't really gotten under my skin in a bad way. Although I can think of a couple of exceptions where the writing just did not work for me at all. Like in the case of Spike at Your Service, the fact that he was made to be so incompetent has never really sat well with me. But even worse than that, I really didn't like how they portrayed the Wonderbolts during Rainbow Falls. I lost a lot of respect for Spitfire's character when she lied to her teammate and was very clearly in the wrong for doing so. Rosie Sievers wants to know, are you looking forward to Season 5, and if so, what would your ideal episode be? I am most certainly looking forward to Season 5, and I hope there are still more seasons even beyond that. As for an ideal episode, I've come up with quite a few ideas on future episodes that I would like to see in MLP's future, and really any one of those would work for me. I hope that some of you will take a look at these videos and tell me whether you think any of them might work. Jack of All Spades is asking, do you like the direction the show is going? What would be your dream episode? What is your occupation? I have certainly enjoyed most everything in the show thus far, even with some nitpicks here and there. I hope to see the writers continue to get better and better with their craft. As for my current occupation, I'm actually an accountant, if you can believe it. I graduated from college with a degree in business finance, and I've been looking into getting an MBA. Although, with all the work I've been putting into this YouTube channel, I'm hoping to also develop my voice talents as well as my analytical skills. Baroque King Zakanis wants to know, are you an actual licensed psychiatrist? I have gotten this question from at least 36 people over these past months, and I've always told them that no, I am not a real doctor. I only took one psychology class in college, but even though I thoroughly enjoyed the subject matter, I wasn't too sure about going through so many years of schooling to become a psychiatrist. I just happen to be a very patient and calm individual who is also a very good listener. And that seems to work very well when I can get into conversations with others who have questions about living life. I am thoroughly enjoying all these Moment with Dr. Wolf sessions, and I hope to continue doing them for a long time yet. And maybe someday I can convince myself to go back to college and work on becoming a real doctor. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I do intend to make at least one more video covering more of your questions, although depending on how much interest there is from the audience, I may end up doing a third video, and perhaps even a Q&A live stream where people can ask me questions directly. My thanks to all of you who have left comments and questions. Until next time, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.